So obviously a great effort on Saturday, especially defensively. You guys looked really good. You did have 2 weeks, as Guillermo said after the game. You had sort of 2 weeks to game plan for that. Now you have 3 days. Talk a little bit about the challenge of that, and you built a ton of momentum coming out of this game. If you can't follow that with another good performance, do you lose that momentum? How does the momentum thing work for you guys in such a tight schedule?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's going to be a lot of games coming up real quick, so momentum can play a factor. I think for us, it was the 2 weeks more than just game planning for one game. It was kind of resetting and figuring out how we're going to be best as a team. And, we can say that's all fixed and we got it right, but it's just one game. We got to continue it on. And it's good to have another game this quickly because we can just continue what we were doing instead of sit back and think on things.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for doing this.
No problem. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. We have another question from Scott French. Scott, go ahead. Your line's unmuted.
Thank you. Hey, Daniel. What was the difference? What was tactically were you guys doing that was different defensively? What really went into that? Because that was really an extraordinary defensive performance the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to make it sound really simple, but we were just more compact, kept our lines tighter, and we were just moving more as a team. I mean, we talked about it today. A lot of the guys, we didn't feel like we overran. We felt like we might have even run less, but it was all because we were organized. And I think that's the key factor there. And I think it frustrated them. It didn't give them a chance to build, to break lines. And even when they did, I mean, a lot of moments in the second half, we might have been sitting there and they broke lines with a couple passes, but we swarmed on the ball immediately. So it's going to be continuing that trend of trying to be compact defensively, communicate. I thought as a back line, we shifted and played well, and just keeping the lines tight.
Thank you.
We have the next question for Larry Morgan. Larry, go ahead. Your line's unmuted.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have two questions. One, what was the vibe of the team like entering the LAFC match? Could you sense the team was ready to play a game like that? And two, you're coming off not only an important win, but a very emotional win over your bitter rival. How do you guard against a letdown on Wednesday?
Well, yeah, for the first one, I mean, the vibe was not great coming out of Orlando. So, it was something we were working on in the 2 weeks. But going into the game, we knew we had worked on a lot of stuff in training. We felt good with what we did. And we knew we were going to go in as a team and we could produce a performance like that. So going into it, I think we felt good, but obviously the weeks before it was all about getting the work done and going back to reset, back to zero sort of thing. So it was good going into it. Obviously coming out, we're feeling pretty good right now. But yeah, like I said before, and like you just mentioned, it can be one game or it can be a momentum thing. So we need to continue it. And not just let it be like a one-off game that we work and play like that, but kind of something we do from here on forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. The next question is for Adam Serrano. Adam, go ahead.
Dan, can you speak about Julian's maturity? We've really sort of seen him grow over the last two games. He's definitely not afraid of those LAFC matches, getting into some tussles in the game. I think he's had 2 assists as well. As a younger player, someone you've seen kind of grow up, how have you seen him kind of develop, and what do you think is sort of next for him? What does he still have to learn, and what do you want to still see him get better at?
Yeah, I mean, he's always kind of had that mentality coming in, even when he first started here, even when he wasn't getting games, and then cracking in last year a little bit to the lineup. So his mentality's always been there. I thought yesterday he played a great game, or 2 days ago he played a great game. It's a little different for him right now. He's playing right winger instead of right back, which he's more used to. So for him, I think figuring out that position is going to be what he'll tell you, and anyone else things he needs to work on. But he's got speed for defending, speed going forward. Yesterday he shows he can put in some good balls, which is going to be needed for us. So I think it's things like that he'll pick up on. But he can go anywhere with his athleticism, with his game. He's still a young kid, so you know, we'll see what his future holds. But right now, he's starting to pick it up and play well for us.
If you have a question for Dan, please feel free to use the hand raise function on the Zoom feature or the chat and message me directly. The next question is for Giovanni Garcia. Gio, your line's unmuted.
Hey Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
Hey, congrats on the 2-0 shutout. Can you talk a little bit more about what was the game plan? Because it seemed you guys were the most physical team by far from start to finish. Just shutting down the top three, obviously Rossi, Vela, and Brian Rodriguez. Can you talk about the game plan on trying to limit those guys?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it. It's those are all three good players, and we've seen what they've done in the past. Part of it's being physical with them. Part of it is being tighter to them. You give those guys space, they're gonna tear you apart. They're gonna take advantage of it. So it was a mixture of getting tight, getting our lines closer, and trying to limit as many transition moments as we could. So it was just frustrating them the whole day, and I think we did a pretty good job. I'm pretty proud to finally get that shutout just for the season, but also to show that we can play a game like that in this sort of series, which hasn't seen a game like this at all. So it was a good one.
The next question is for Damian Calhoun. Damian, go ahead.
Hey, Daniel. My question is, with the schedule coming, as fast and quick as it is, how do you stay mentally sharp, physically sharp? I mean, your LAFC on Saturday, then your Seattle Wednesday, and then San Jose a couple of days after that. How do you just stay sharp mentally and physically going forward here?
Yeah, I mean, there's no getting around it. It's a tough schedule out here on the West Coast. A lot of good teams, and we're playing in rapid succession. So, I mean, like I said before, you can catch a little bit of momentum, and it can be a good thing. But even today, just coming back in, it felt pretty good to have sort of a normal schedule again of, getting a week of training, playing a game, and coming back and doing what you need to do after a game. So even though it's going to be a really tight window here, it felt good just to be back in that normal sort of swing of things of playing games and training instead of just training at home or training here or being in a bubble in Orlando. So just being back in a little bit of normal life felt pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We have one final one from Adam Serrano. Adam, go ahead. Your line's unmuted.
Dan, you kind of touched on getting the shutout and what that meant, as for the team this entire season. You said, this rivalry hasn't seen a game like that. How important was it to sort of have a complete defensive performance? Because, we've seen those games just sort of change on a dime, but you haven't seen that sort of full defensive performance from either team to really provide some suffocating defense. Is that kind of a statement you can kind of make toward them, or how do you view it?
Yeah, I think it was something that needed to happen. These games have obviously been extremely entertaining for everyone, and it was even going into the game this weekend. Both teams had their ways one or two times, so it was always on the attacking side. And obviously for me as a defender, I wanted to change that a little bit, and I think you could say it was a statement. You could say it was something we've been working on. But it was big for us as just a defensive unit in our team. First shutout of the year, it's something we needed. And to do it against a team like LAFC in those sort of games, that hasn't happened before. Obviously one of the top teams in the league. I think it's bigger for us than it is for maybe the rivalry.